won 19 of 23 since. Bianca Bertolino to serve. We're underway inside McCamish Pavilion, and an overpass gives Georgia Tech an opportunity early, and we've got a net violation against the Bulldogs. Point Tech.
After talking to college coaches throughout this preseason, it's known that Bianca Bertolino has one of the best serves in the nation. Starting off for Georgia Tech on that service line, taking a rip.
Second in the ACC in aces per set. She's added a jump serve this year as well. And another tough first contact with the left hand. Evans punches it over. Now Otene's first swing, and it leads to Georgia Tech's second point.
This is what makes Otene great, the ability to have hands in front of her and then decide which way she's going to go right away. That time, taking it high into the hands, trying to get that tool long for the point.
Yellow Jackets lead the ACC in a number of categories. The defense has been particularly improved this year. Bertolino nearly picks up his ace. And on the backside, Otene collects on another point foul out. Net violation, rather. Point Tech.
For this Georgia block, you look across the net, you're like, okay, I got Otene, Mogridge, and Mendez. Which one am I going to make a late move, catch the top of the net? Is going to get called.
Bertolino still serving, a preseason All-ACC selection. Evans lets it fly, back row dig. Otene goes line. And another violation against the Bulldogs on their side of the floor.
The best thing that Otene did on that swing was take her ball and place it on the setter, Brower, causing the setter to make the first contact and then a double contact on the second.
How much more comfortable does she look to you on the outside as opposed to the right side?
Almost you want to breathe and exhale for Otene playing back on the outside where she's comfortable. Playing the whole last season on the right side, it was like ups or down, up and down the type of level she played. Sometimes she would light it up, sometimes she would hit long, but it's a comfort level getting that ball on her right side to kill it now.
After the service error, Tori Harper serving first for Georgia. Where's Brower going to go? To Evans. And they'll have to pass it over the net. Brower backside, Fisher on the 1 foot. No, trying to polish it off, and she does. Sophie Fisher, Georgia's end-all be-all this year.
Fisher leading the Georgia Bulldogs in about every statistical category, showing that she can do it offensively and then ready at the net for that block.
She set the Georgia rally scoring era record for blocks in a single season last year as Harper's serve is wide. And Georgia Tech with the side out will bring on Deandra Pierce.
You know, I'm not mad at Harper. You got to take rips. You got to go strong. Wrist on that service line is what you need to do against this Georgia Tech team because they can pass if that serve's easy.
Mogridge serving the transfer from North Carolina into the tape. Another error. And point to the red and black.
Volleyball is a pass and serve game. So once the flow starts, you can see Georgia Tech defensively looks really solid today. For Georgia, you got to get some transition offense going.
Evans to the middle, and Pierce is blocked. With Sophie Fisher leading that Bulldog block, Keely, it can be a tough night for opposing offenses.
Sophie Fisher says, thank you, I'm all over that with my 6'5" extension, clamping it down.
One of the top players in the SEC and therefore the country. Great spot. Stacey Evans takes a bow.
Yes, this is what makes Evans so lethal. She can do it on the service line, insane ball control, but that competitive spirit, you can't see in that red shirt, but it's definitely under that.
Trying to get her going, Keely. That's one of the keys you talk to Georgia's personnel. They need to get her going offensively, more so than she's been the first few weeks of the year. As Estelle Haugen punched back over by Pierce. Haugen once more, off speed this time. Mendez, the freshman. Haugen from the middle line. For Otene to the other side, and the back corner pocket is open, Keely.
The precision. Otene taking that rip to silence that Georgia grit on their side. Going strong. Nice setup on the block, good transition. Even a fast set to the outside. Otene with the corner kill.
Second kill for Otene. This is Mendez serving. Freshman from Brazil. And on a wide angle, Fisher gets it to drop.
I'm a huge fan of Sophie Fisher. She has the ability, of course, to take over a match, which you're seeing offensively, defensively, on the block, on her threat. If she's in the front row, you know Brower's going to go find her.
Ella D'Amico, second-year setter, goes to Otene. A little out of system. Otene catches the hands. And another kill for Tamara Otene, the transfer from Illinois State. She's had double-digit kills in 5 of the first 7 matches this year.
Otene so solid. You see, she's slightly off the net and able to work the moving blocker's arm just to catch that little ricochet to get it off for a tool.
They've been going to her most frequently in this opening set. 7 attacks already, 4 kills. Bertolino's turn, tries to drop it in softly, and she does.
Libero for Georgia Tech. Pimentel with a money dig. I thought Fisher had that rip, and then playing smarter, not harder, dropping it short is Bertolino.
And unlike a year ago, Keely, this is a Georgia Tech offense that's going to rely on a number of different players to deliver kills. Last year it was mostly Julia Bergman, but this year it's been a team effort.
A complete team effort, and that's what you need with this Georgia block. A team block, nice close on that, getting up and setting it up is Gooch. But you're right, with Georgia Tech, you have the same setter with the D'Amico, couple different hitters, and it's much more balanced, which it has really shot up the offense to rank Georgia Tech 10th.
So Haugen with the block. This is Clara Brower serving, and a free ball over, and Haugen eats it.
Haugen bringing it, nice playing, going up strong, owning that as a sophomore. Only as a sophomore, you know what this means, a rivalry match, cross-state, let's do this.
Haugen started just 3 matches last year. She started 9 of 10 this season. And Deandra Pierce, the transfer from Texas, national champion a year ago, but getting a chance to play a little more here at Georgia Tech.
Pierce has been a really nice addition in that middle. She can run fast, so that's a nice slide attack. Block not able to set up, and then just throw it to the open court.
Now Paula Pimentel to the middle. Harper, she catch hands? She did. Point Georgia. Coach Michelle Collier can't believe it. She says, whose hands?
This is an easy challenge call for a coach because you can ask your players. You know as a blocker right away if you touch the ball or not. So Coach Collier looked at her players and said, did you touch it? And everybody said, nope, didn't touch it. So a good time to use your challenge card.
So our officiating crew, led by our 2 referees, Arlene Hughes and Suzanne Dodd. Let's take a look at this one. And you know, this is always so interesting to me. All replay reviews across all sports, I'd argue one of the hardest ones to tell is hands in volleyball.
That is. And you want to look for movement with fingers as you go up in the block. So anytime the camera footage gets a little blurry, you're like, oh, maybe there was movement. But in that replay right there, you saw a solid camera work without any type of finger movement.
And if nothing else, this will work for as a timeout for Michelle Collier. Georgia Tech got up to a 3-0 lead, but Georgia's answered back. And at the moment, we're even at 9. There's Tom Black, SEC head coach of the year. One more look here.
Great spin set by Brower.
So are we looking at Mogridge here, you think, or Bertolino?
I'm thinking that you're looking at the
spot,
seam because it went high through the seam, but you can see the ball cleared the fingers about 2 inches above.
Man, that is hard to tell, and you need conclusive evidence to overturn it. And like you mentioned, it getting blurry as you zoom in there. Everything looks a little pixelated. What do you think, Keely? Have you seen enough to overturn it?
I'm thinking it's going to be overturned, but it's one of those that as a referee, you don't want to be wrong in sometimes, but you're like, okay, maybe I'll just stay strong, have my line judged back because maybe it wasn't enough for me to overturn. But if anyway, Coach Collier just taking a little time with her team because between the 2 blocks from Haugen and Gooch, you just need to breathe a little bit.
So you get the look from high behind the court.
Yeah, that's probably your best view right there. because you can see on the angle, you're trying to Mogridge 0 on your screen. That's who the ball is going over. Can you see if her fingers moved at all? I'm not seeing any finger motion.
Now I'm looking at that left index finger for Mogridge. But again, the call on the floor was that it hit hands, so.
And this is another thing you have to consider. So right away, Mogridge went to Coach Collier and said, I didn't touch it. So if you lie to your coach, that's sprint in practice. If Coach Collier sees finger motion right here.
Well, how about this view here? This might be, ooh.
That won't be your best view, because as soon as the ball drops down on the angle, it looks like it's behind the hand.
Yeah, I don't think I'm seeing that finger move. I mean, if anything, you're seeing Bertolino's right hand pass in front of the left. All right, looks like we have a ruling here, and Arlene Hughes relaying it. And they will say it is confirmed. Yeah, we are told it was confirmed, not stood, but confirmed. So point goes to Georgia, kill for Tori Harper. That's her first. And Estelle Haugen will now serve. As you mentioned, a sophomore. Played just 24 sets last year. Already played more than that this season. And a joust won by Casey Evans.
That's more than a joust right there, Wiley. That's I am here to play Casey Evans going head-to-head with senior setter D'Amico on a joust. Going up, redirecting. That's just a power move.
And Georgia with their first lead in this first set. Back row punch from Mendez. Long way across court. And I guess that over the net there from Georgia Tech. The point to Georgia.
Good fight by Georgia right now, coming strong. Coach Collier just taking it all in, identifying what's a good side out right now. We've got to get Bianca Bertolino going.
Bulldogs have won 5 of the last 6 points. D'Amico from the back row to Otene. And that'll snap Georgia's run here. Point Tech.
Otene feeling her groove. She's flowing middle back. She's so confident taking that rip out of middle back on a BIC or just an out-of-system ball. That's where in her comfort zone she's back where she wants to play.
And Brower keeps it on the Bulldog side, gets the swing for Evans. Bertolino continuing to go off speed. And that time Evans once more winning the battle at the tape, and Demi Keeley, that's the difference so far in this set. Oh, hold on. And a late judgment call comes in, and the point's going to go to Georgia Tech. They get Brower over the net there?
You catch a little net violation on the end of that. I always watch body language as a player, and there was no dispute by Evans.
So net violation on Evans, and Harper gets it right back. Seems like Georgia's block having a little more success than Georgia Tech's right now.
And I think Georgia's doing a really good job taking rips on the service line. You know, and even defensively, Georgia Tech's a little more in the scramble. Georgia looks a little more set up.
And that serve is long from Anya Julia Bleeker. So Bleeker back to the bench. And Mallory Downing. Libero back in for the Bulldogs. She won that spot in preseason camp, beating out Bailey Cox. And a service ace from Bertolino. She leads the Yellow Jackets in that department.
Bertolino will make it hard for any good serve-receive passer to pass a ball. She just hits the ball and thumps it with such power in her contact.
It's so heavy. Once more, and back-to-back aces. Bianca Bertolino, the Argentinian. And a timeout on the floor called by Coach Tom Black. Got to make some serve-receive adjustments. The Yellow Jackets are ahead, 14-12. We step aside for the first time tonight. Clean old-fashioned hate on a Friday night in the ATL.
Welcome to Ideation Station.
Their best.
You're returning a lot of players, so 73% of your kills last year are coming back. You got to add just that consistency in your game. Finishing off 3rd in the SEC last season, Georgia's just ready to go, getting their groove going.
Brower to Fisher in the middle. Off the serve. Now Otene a swing. And it's long. She was trying to catch those hands, Keely. Didn't find them.
You're right. Going high. Look at you, Wiley, getting the game of volleyball like a pro, like you are or something. You are. Going
Keely,
high
I've been learning at your hand for a number of years now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. She's going for that high shot.
All right, so Tori Harper serving. Sophomore from Reno, Nevada. Cross court, Otene with the power. That's her 5th kill. No other player in this match has more than 2.
So solid. Otene, you can feel that she is locked in as well. She's like, okay, D'Amico, if you can give me a seam, I can work the seam faster than the block can arrive. Going hard through that seam, little ricochet down.
Honorable mention of All-American 2 years ago at Illinois State. She said trying to find her groove last year in a different position on the opposite side. Now back to the outside, and she's playing the best volleyball she's played at Georgia Tech. Meanwhile, for Georgia, they answer right back, and Sophie Fisher, another big swing.
Just a scramble play, and then you have her setter Brower saying, I don't care where you are, you just give me an audible, I'm gonna toss you up a ball. I would do the same thing if I was sitting in the front row with Fisher.
Well, and Coach Black made no secret about it, Keely. They want to make sure every night they look at their attacks, they want to know Fisher had the most swings of any player on their side. D'Amico with the right hand, and Otene, nice adjustment there on the fly.
That's one important thing for young players to realize. Sometimes if you have a block in front of you, if you delay your swing and tip into the blocker as they fall, you can get an easy ball down to the floor.
So often you see her go full steam ahead on those swings, but that time a little changeup. Brower, Haugen on the overhand. And that time a little too much taken off as it falls short.
Otene was expecting a flatter ball off that set in transition. She entered and then got caught under, had not really a lot of shots to work with.
And now Fisher will serve.
Which is good news for Georgia Tech because she's lighting it up in the front row.
D'Amico to Pierce. She has walled up Cece Gooch, the freshman, announcing her presence.
Gooch says, I recognize that you want to go to Pierce in the middle for Georgia Tech every time I've been in the front row, but I'm going to step in and clamp down on that.
Fisher again. D'Amico. Mendez! Freshman firing again.
After losing a 3-time All-American like Bergman, you were like, okay, what's going to happen next year? Where are we going to find offense? Well, you bring in a freshman Mendez. She can hit front row, back row with precision.
She's now got a team best 94 kills on the season as that serve is short. And we're even at 17 here as we're reaching the back end of this opening set. Brower this time. D'Amico backside on the slide. Deandra Pierce. That was quick.
Pierce so comfortable off of 1 foot behind the setter. That's her second kill running that slide attack. You love to see that happen a little earlier to get that offense going. Something behind the setter, produce some offense that will hold the middle blocker on the other side.
And Pierce hasn't been a featured piece in this Georgia Tech offense, but in their biggest wins, Ohio State and Penn State, she's made an impact. Trying to add one here tonight. Evans back row. Bertolino over the block. What a dig from the backside, Brower. So Evans has to pass it over. Mogridge with a middle. Wow. Hammer. Oh, what a save by Georgia. Mallory Downing getting it done.
Yes.
D'Amico, Mogridge into the stands in the student section. Point Georgia Tech.
I don't know if Georgia Tech needed that more or the fans did. They were holding their breath, have this set so tight, coming up with a big swing. Mogridge with the kill.
This atmosphere is something else. Georgia Tech expected to break an attendance record for a volleyball match here inside their basketball arena, McCamish Pavilion. And that attack from Tori Harper goes long, and the Yellow Jackets hit the 20-point threshold. And on cue, Coach Black calling timeout.
Nice play to try to produce something up the middle with Harper. A lot of times when your arm goes fast, but you don't have your wrist snap at your contact, you can catch the ball like a float out of bounds to take it long. Georgia Tech just taking a deep breath to get up by 3 with this set being so tight.
Well, we saw Georgia Tech come out with a first punch. Then Georgia responded. I think it had an 11-9 lead. What has Georgia Tech done to get back in control of this set, even for the moment?
I think they're finding their middles in the offense a little better. For Georgia, Fisher's out of the back row. So that's a deep, like, you just go, thank you, Fisher, for being the back row. We can handle the offense a little better blocking-wise. So Georgia Tech's able to transition out with Mendez, number 11 on your screen, hidden out of the back row as well. So Georgia's just waiting for Fisher to get in the front row because it's still a match, because she can block and attack.
Looking inside that Georgia Tech huddle, the Jackets have not lost to Georgia since 2019. Tech's won the last 2 meetings. And you look all time at this series, Keely. I mean, the sum total makes it look pretty split, but boy, it's been a tale of 2 centuries, if you will. In the 1900s, the 80s, the 90s, Georgia won all but 1 meeting, the first 20, until 99 when the Jackets got their first win. And since then, Georgia Tech has won 19 of 23. Last 2 wins have been by sweeps, and Georgia has won just 1 match in Atlanta since 1991.
Anytime you play a rival match, it just means a lot more. It's nice to see the young players for each team really step up and want this match really well.
So out of the timeout, Pimentel serving. Great dig from Otene. Bertolino tries to go the sharp angle. This time she'll go to the back corner, and Bianca Bertolino buries it.
I just love watching Bertolino play because she'll try finesse shots, but you can't forget how heavy of a ball she hits on her service. She's got the power, she's got the heat. She just uses it when she wants it to put a ball to the floor. Bianca Bertolino, bueno.
So a 4-0 run for the Yellow Jackets. Haugen, boy, she saw some open space there in the center of the court. It did not miss.
That's one of those moments where, yes, Bianca, you got a seam, but let me go to my hole on that. Nice job on the rip by Haugen, taking her momentum back.
Haugen on the serve, and she'll get the ace. Pimentel couldn't handle it. And now Georgia Tech wants the timeout. So Georgia wins a couple of quick points. And you can see the enthusiasm for both these groups. These are a couple of teams that have really good chemistry so far, first few weeks into the season.
It's really nice to see that type of team unity. A lot of times when you get a high-level programs, you watch players and they're all about themselves, but this Georgia team, the Georgia Tech squad, really coming together and fighting for a first set thriller.
Well, you look at what Georgia's done. I mean, really over the last 12 to 15 months. Take a look at the roller coaster they've ridden the last 4 years here, Keely. 2019, got to the NCAA tournament for the first time in several seasons, won 20 matches. Then COVID happens, and they really slid off. 8-14 in that SEC-only season. Then in 2021, 5 games below 500. It seemed like the momentum that Coach Black had built through those first 3 seasons had been lost. And Coach Black's the first one to point out, it's not just him, it's the fact that the players bought in. There wasn't a transfer exodus, and they put forth a school record 13 SEC wins last year. They won their first NCAA tournament game since 1995. He wins SEC Coach of the Year. Again, he stresses that's a team award.
Coach Black knows how to run a team. It's really nice to see that his players are bought in, and sometimes you have to have bad seasons to learn. A lot of times people say if you lose, you learn, and that's a learning season to then light it up in 2022.
And no one really personifies that bounce back more, I think, than Casey Evans. She was there at the beginning for the success. And in that COVID season, not only was Georgia losing, she was quarantined 3 or 4 separate times. I mean, it was really emotionally tough season for her, for everybody. Pretty exciting to see how she's able to close out her 5th year and rewrite the ending to what could have been a sour finish to her career. Big moments here in the opening set. Evans, Otene, the dig. Bertolino. Where's Brower going to go? Backside. Harper into the net. Point Georgia Tech.
That was a big point for Georgia Tech to get it, because one more rotation, you have Fisher back in the front row for Georgia, just holding her breath. You got Bertolino on the outside, so smart with the type of hit that she wants to take.
And Fisher catching a breather here until she gets back in that rotation. And a swing from the middle from CC Gooch. This has been a first month of the season for Georgia. They've had a ton of injuries, and CC Gooch has kind of been forced to play a little more than her share as a freshman. She's had some big swings so far in this first set.
And you love that Georgia can run that go to the outside and then runs like a push, the hang time, so you don't really know out of the setter's hands if she's setting that middle or the outside. Now
the redshirt freshman, Anna Julia Bleeker serving. Back row swing from Otene. Good dig by Pimentel. She leads the ACC in digs. Earns Georgia Tech a second shot at it, and Larissa Mendez a kill off the hands.
Pimentel dug that ball off the blocker's arms to redirect. Watch, it touches the blocker. Pimentel adjusts to the dig. That saved the play, and you got your freshman Mendez going high into Fisher's hands.
She's averaging more than 5 digs per set. Keeley, the school record for a single season is 4. Evans, and the block for Georgia Tech. Their first block of the set, Keeley, earns them set point.
Big block. Mendez comes up first with the kill, and now coming up with the block and the close by Mogridge. Georgia Tech, set point.
Well, Bianca Bertolino began this set at the service line trying to finish it, but it's into the net. And so Georgia will serve again in this first set. It's going to be Tori Harper.
This is a good rotation for Georgia Tech. You're getting the sub by the setter. Last time in this rotation, D'Amico, Georgia Tech setter, went outside for the kill.
Fans on their feet, pom-poms tornadoing here in McCamish Pavilion. D'Amico, backside, off the dome of Evans, and the set belongs to Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets have now won tonight.
Let's do it. Oh, right, today's a Friday. Yes, they're probably still studying.
Never say never.
Yes, we know.
So Georgia will serve to begin this second set tomorrow. Otene, boy, a heavy swing. Pushed over by Evans. D'Amico this time to Mendez. She's walled off. Another hook over the block that time. And Evans just didn't quite line it up. First point belongs to the Yellow Jackets.
Beautifully done by Mendez. There's a saying in volleyball that when in doubt, take the setter out. If you don't have a shot with your hit, just go ahead and tip it on the setter to force Georgia not to play a legit offense.
Well, if that's not school spirit, I don't know what is. And it led to an ace. 2-0 Georgia Tech.
Bertolino, you almost want to hit that in slow motion. It's so pretty. She has such a strong hand contact on the ball, and then the ability to have the ball control to snap it. It's beautiful.
One of 2 team captains for Georgia Tech, Bianca Bertolino. Evans into the wall. Mogridge trying to win the battle to tape. And right into the chest of Tori Harper. She could not handle that.
Mendez so smart with the ball. She played with Olympians back in Brazil, just has a calmness about her, the ability to know where she wants to place the ball. Great job, Mendez, coming up with that.
Yeah, Michelle Collier insists, look, she might be a true freshman. She's not been on campus for less than a month. But Coach Collier insists she's one of the most experienced players on her roster because of what she was able to experience with the Brazilian national team.
And you can tell experienced players, they don't ride the game up and down emotionally. They just are very calm, but then inside you're playing really aggressively because you know how to perform.
Now Bailey Cox. D'Amico to Otene. Ooh, fine dig that time from Evans. Fisher, her first swing of this second set. Popped up, Evans blocked by Mogridge. And down the line, Sophie Fisher, she knows where she can find those empty spaces of court.
You love watching Sophie Fisher because she's confident in her game. She's like, just throw me a ball up. I'm going to run it down. I don't care where it is. I'll find a way to get it on the floor. Love watching you play, Fisher.
Well, and on the topic of national teams, Keely, Sophie Fisher spent this past summer with the collegiate national team out in Anaheim, California. Coach Black is high on her potential to be a contributor for the U.S. national team.
When you have the height and mobility, Coach Black knows what Fisher can do, and then the ability to just powerhouse a ball. Fisher's got the complete game.
Oh, and she's come such a long way, too. She began her career at Kentucky as an outside hitter, arrived at Georgia, moved to the middle, and she's doing stuff like that.
Right. On cue. Nice job. Fisher coming up the middle. You can see she can go on the right side, hit a slide, and then up the middle. Throw her on the outside. Fisher just has a way to find the court on her swing.
Celebrated her birthday earlier this week, too.
If you're anybody in Georgia Tech, you'd be like, Feliz cumpleaños or cumpleaños feliz. You got it right.
Down the line, Otene.
Or feliz aniversario, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
It's in Portuguese. You got a lot of people wishing you happy birthday, Sophie Fisher.
Yeah, there's plenty of international flavor on this Georgia Tech team. 3 players from Brazil, Bertolino from Argentina, Otene from New Zealand. Long run for Brower to try and feed Haugen. Nice play there by Pimentel in the first contact. Backside, Haugen. And they're going to say that did hit the pin before it hit a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket.
Just incredible. So you have Bertolino had a back row attack. Instead of hitting it, she was like, I didn't really have my power shot. Let me go ahead and place it on Georgia's setter, Brower. Georgia not able to come off with the offensive play. Great job on that placement.
Ooh, awkward sweeping hit that time from Haugen. The block again for Georgia. Sophie Fisher palms upward saying, what more do you want from me?
Right. Team needs a play. Team needs a point. Look no further. Sophie Fisher playing at all ends.
All SEC last year, All-American honorable mention, and serves it just long. Nice read by Bertolino.
Looking at Georgia's offense right now, I like that gap to the outside. If they can get that pass going, Haugen has been a good seam kill over D'Amico.
Brower across court. Haugen lets it fly. A little too much on it. And Georgia Tech, their lead stretches to 8-4. Yellow Jackets undefeated this year as, Coach Black is going to challenge this and see if Haugen caught some hands here.
Pretty interesting. So you had the line judge call a touch. The up official overruled, said she did not see a touch, gave the point to Georgia Tech. Coach Tom Black for Georgia walked right over with this green challenge card, said, hey, we're going to see in video.
Oh, and if you see 2 referees on different pages, Keely, it usually means it'd be a good time to challenge if you ended up on the wrong side of the call. But 2, the Yellow Jackets right now, not a commanding lead, but they've certainly got off on the right foot in the second set. A chance for Georgia to regroup while they challenge the call. Here's a look. I think we're looking at Pierce's right hand there.
From that view, I'm actually seeing space between the ball and Pierce's fingers on that block. So I'm thinking this will stay. But like the previous one, a referee can decide that's inconclusive, and I throw my pen in the air.
Keely, you've been around this game for a long time, and maybe it's because we're watching it in slow motion here, but I'm just looking at the ups from Estelle Haugen rather, and thinking, is the game further above the net today than it was when you played?
Definitely. And there was times you played a couple teams, the height advantage was there, but you have to adjust your offense based on what your strengths are. For example, we had shorter players on my team. We went with speed and ball control. So we beat the play with the ball for the outside attack was barely to the second red of that antenna as far as height. So you're seeing the game change a little bit, a lot more out of system. Digs, people are doing a much better job of reading the game, picking up digs, and that's a lot with club volleyball has just improved. Volleyball is the #1 team played sport for girls across the nation. So just the level of game has improved.
And in women's sports as a whole, I mean, Georgia Tech actually had an event, Fan Day, earlier today to honor women's sports. The basketball team, track and field, softball, tennis, swim and dive, the Spirit Squad, all were here signing autographs, as we've now got a ruling coming here from our referee, Arlene Hughes. And it is confirmed, no touch, point Georgia Tech, so Otene.
And it's pretty special, the game of volleyball. You're getting a professional team to your city with Atlanta vibe, so it's only going up from here.
No, and even this week alone, I mean, we saw the Kentucky-Louisville showdown on Wednesday night, Louisville coming out on top, and then Tuesday, I mean, a top 5 matchup, Nebraska and Stanford. And Estelle Haugen that time able to find the floor.
That's a set she wanted. It was slightly inside. Brower went, instead of shooting out or off, going little tight, able to work that inside cut shot before Pierce, the blocker for Georgia Tech, was able to drop her left hand.
That's Haugen's 3rd kill of the match. Side out percentage for Georgia Tech over 65%. Keely, Georgia's had trouble getting on a run at the service line.
And you have to continue to take your risks on the service line. In this rotation, Georgia Tech has been going to Pierce on that slide attack, but don't sleep on back row attack Mendez right here.
Mopping up the backside of the Georgia Tech side of the floor. A little easier to keep things dry here in McCamish than O'Keefe Gymnasium. Just across the street, and a service ace. And that's really been a hallmark of Coach Black's teams, even for his time back on the West Coast at Loyola Marymount and San Diego. They always serve aggressively, and that's one of the reasons they're top 5 in the SEC in aces %.
You'd love seeing Brower take that rip right now.
Looking for another one. Gets him a free ball at least. Harper, a good swing. Scrambling for the Yellow Jackets. Brower feeds the outside this time, and Estelle Haugen stay hot. And they're on this run without Fisher in the front row.
That's right. This is the offense Georgia needed in the second set. This is a matchup. You have Haugen with D'Amico, the setter for Georgia Tech. A little delay with Pierce with that close. That's what you need for Georgia.
Brower leads the Bulldogs in service aces. Bertolino floats it. D'Amico goes back row to Otene, and she just left it short. Just like that, Georgia's evened it up, 4-0 run.
And you remember at 8-4, Coach Black used that challenge card and said, okay, I might not win this, but I need that momentum back on our side. And with Brower on the service line, you sure got it.
Saw a window of opportunity. Bertolino, the Georgia block with another point. 5-0 run for the Bulldogs. Taking some of the starch out of this crowd in McCamish.
Great job, Brower on the service line, just going hard. Georgia Tech right now trying to find offense with a pass that is slightly off. You know they want to get Pierce the ball on the slide attack, but just not able to pass the ball.
D'Amico Mendez. Evans from the back row, and she beats the block that time.
If you're Coach Black, you're looking at your Georgia team and saying, you know what, I really like how we have faced adversity in the first set, and now we're trying to find a way with multiple players, not just Fisher. So you got Evans, that back row attack looking strong. Georgia Tech making a double sub to try to mix things up.
It's the first time we've seen them dip into their depth. This is Eloise Suarez and Apedo Manyang, transfer from TCU, wearing 23 in white. Manyang, a fifth-year player. Suarez, a true freshman, another import from Brazil. And another ace from Clara Brower. Boy, she is some kind of hot right now behind the line.
After talking to Coach Black, he's very confident in his service game, but he didn't know how his players were going to respond to this Georgia Tech environment, this rival match. Brower stepping up her game big time, leading her team as a setter and on the service line.
Coach Black says she plays angry. And finally, Georgia Tech snaps the run. Apedo Manyang, they call her Smiley on that Yellow Jacket bench.
Yeah. At this point, you call her whatever you want. Georgia Tech just needed a kill. You'll take smiles, you'll take frowns. Just come up with a kill for us, please.
Yeah, I think right now she's more employing the game face. Just like that, the serve goes long, and Georgia gets it the side out immediately.
I mean, really impressive with Georgia just staying in this. Just when you think Georgia Tech was going to cruise with momentum, you make a huge run with Brower on the service line, get Georgia Tech a little tight in their serve receive pass, and it's anybody's game.
Bulldogs won 8 of the last 9 points. Out of system. Brower, backside, Harper on the slide, gets the kill. Bulldogs are feeling it right now, and Coach Collier wants a timeout. The Yellow Jackets took set 1, but Georgia with the lead midway through set 2.
Welcome to Ideation Station. As you write, Grammarly can suggest personalized ideas.
Well, the opposing hit percentage has told the story so far this year for Georgia, and tonight, 167 for Georgia Tech. But in that first set, Keely, it was over 230. Here in the second set, the Yellow Jackets are hitting all zeros.
And it's been the serving improvement throughout the match for Georgia. You get the opposing team out of system. They can't run their offense. That allows you to transition out and drop the hitting percentage of your opponent. So right now, Georgia's cruising unless Georgia Tech can start sticking that service-y pass.
Well, Estelle Haugen serving. Suarez, ooh, a tough ball. Mogridge had no choice but to just sort of bump it over. Oh, and off the cheek, Otene somersaults back up, and the Yellow Jackets win the point. Keely, we've been talking about digging all season long for Georgia Tech. They've been one of the top teams in the ACC in that number. In fact, they lead the conference, but they're not used to using the head or the face.
Otene with her left hand save for that pop. This is when you teach players how to use independent hands to drop in fast on that. Otene trying to get that first service-y pass, but coming up big time on that defensive dig.
Yellow Jackets top 10 nationally, not just in the polls, but also in digs per set. Brower to Harper. What a sharp angle. Beautiful shot towards the 6-foot line.
Great job, Harper, coming with taking momentum, because that dig by Otene would gather momentum a little bit, but coming strong is Harper with a kill. You can see the communication. She wants this.
And she's really starting to come along, Keely. She's got 4 kills tonight. The last few matches, she's all of a sudden been a little more of a scorer for Georgia when they had that weekend at home, sweeping the likes of Jacksonville and Samford and Army. And deep corner, Casey Evans. It's been good to her for 5 years now. One of just 19 Bulldogs all time with over 1,000 kills. And she's now got 3 tonight.
And she recognizes her open spots on the court with Georgia Tech. Go in that deep corner. It's open, she found it.
Leaker at the line. To Miko, to Mendez. Did she get hands? Yes, she did. Point Tech.
You always watch right away to see the body language of the blocker. So look in the line judge, the far line judge, called the touch. There was no argument from the Georgia squad. Point goes for Georgia Tech.
Lisa Mendez now with a match high, 8 kills. 3rd in the ACC in kills per set, close to 4 of them. Evans from Brower. And a violation looks like on Liv Mogridge. It's going to be a point for the Bulldogs.
I feel bad, like watching offensive linemen. That's the only time you get shown video when you when you go offsides. And right there, Mogridge just catching a little part of that net. Georgia cruising right now, has the momentum on their side, but more importantly for Georgia, you're taking risk on your service line, causing some chaos for the service-y pass.
And Bailey Cox taking a risk that time, but she hits the pin on the way over the net. So a service error for the Bulldogs. And while Georgia, they got 4 aces against 5 serve errors, I think we've seen a lot of points where the serve receive has been so out of sync for Georgia Tech to where the Bulldogs have really benefited from the way they've served.
Yeah, that's definitely been the storyline in this second set. The pass for Georgia Tech, and then the service line, and risk. You're going ripping with different players for Georgia. First set, we only saw Fisher. This set, we're seeing multiple players. with Evans getting going on the outside, looking great. Out of system ball, this 5th-year grad student taking a risk, going right at Bianca Bertolino.
Right off the shoulder. Georgia's got a chance to pull a little further away, get one more run, and they can lock up this second set. Otenay blocked. Pierce stuffed again. Pimentel clears it out. And the big swing from Mendez. Ball at the net. Point Bulldogs. Wow, what improvisation there by Georgia.
You talked about her hops early on. Harper with the finish, but great rip and dig by Cox to keep the play going. Just pure all-out height jump going against the moving blocker. Heads-up play, putting it down by Harper.
Evans. And did Mendez get the hand? She did. Georgia Tech, if they're going to make a run for this second set, Keely, they got to do it sooner rather than later.
Mendez going the back row for Georgia Tech, getting a double sub right now, but that's the offense you need. Something on the right side to keep the blocker, Fisher, in the middle, nice and stable.
And returning Suarez and Manyang. And Suarez will serve rather.
You got Fisher in the front row for Georgia. I'm going to try to find her before she goes back to serve if I'm the setter.
It'll be Haugen on this swing. And a free ball. Sophie Fisher devouring it.
Fisher's so funny. She's like, oh, dang, I didn't get the pass to get the set in that serve receive ball, but I'll just take care of it with the overpass swing to go back to serve. Great job, Fish. Like I just gave her a nickname. Great job, Fisher.
I bet she's gotten Fish before. And that serve long, so point Tech. Where's Otenay trying to go here, you think?
You go right up the line. You're going against Harper. Harper's hitting on the outside for you. Take her out of offense, try to clamp on this middle.
There it is for the back row. And, yep, never got over, so that's too many touches for the Bulldogs and point Georgia Tech.
And you do it again if you're Otenay. You go right at Harper down the line. You expect Brower to go back row or to the middle.
Georgia has not taken a set off of Georgia Tech since 2019 as that attack is long. And the Yellow Jackets back within 3.
Two great serves by Otenay going right down the line at Harper, taking her out of the offense, not a transition or not a pass to attack type of moment. Georgia Tech getting the momentum back. Strong game right now. You have Fisher in the back row for Georgia. Anybody set.
Did you notice an adjustment in the serve receive for Georgia Tech coming out of that timeout? How have they been able to stem the tide?
I thought Bianca Bertolino actually stuck a solid pass in that serve receive pattern, just to take away motion. You can see a lot of serve receive passers that move a lot, or there's a lot of motion. Those moving body and a moving ball equals a shank. So you want to have a nice quiet ball just to redirect your pass on that. So Bianca Bertolino got the pass back, and then defensively, you saw Otenay with the one-hand save. It was like, okay, we're here to play. We can get the momentum. And then nice serves down the line, taking Harper out of the offense to allow Fisher to hit 2 in the back row for Georgia back-to-back.
And what's the counter for Georgia responding to that? If Georgia Tech handles the pass a little better, what's the next step they can take?
It all depends on if Georgia can find offense apart from Fisher in the front row. So yeah, we know right now we have Evans in the back row, 23 on your screen. Fisher's in the back row, your 2 kill leaders for your team. You look at number 10, Tori Harper, we're like, we need a kill. And then you go your freshman, Gooch, the middle. We need a kill from one of you guys in the front row, so it's not easy to set up on our offense. It's a really good rotation for Georgia Tech if Otenay can just keep a service run going.
Well, to your point, Tori Harper, she's not on the floor, so I suppose you're looking.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, I guess
Haugen the whole time. Matt Haugen.
Gotcha. Brower with a sneak attack. And Suarez gets it over. Great defense by Georgia Tech. And now where's Suarez going to go? Cross court, Bertolino, point Yellow Jackets. That feels like a big moment.
Suarez with the save, the layout to keep the play going. That was it. Right here with the scramble, Otene layout. You got the hustle, Pimentel, but Suarez, your setter, laying out to keep the play. And Bertolino just loves the seam. Give her a seam. You're going to come up with a kill.
And look at the response on the bench and in the stands. A raucous crowd here at McCamish. Here's some Bertolino up front. Suarez back to Bertolino, off speed, Fisher dives. And a bump over from Cox in the back row. Young! Holy smokes, man! That was out of a cannon, Keely.
Oh, give me some of that. Young with the kill down the line. That not only was a low set, it was low and fast. She says, okay, I got open net. Let me get there and thump it.
A rifle shot. Brower looking for offense. Evans flat-footed into the net. And the Yellow Jackets have turned on a 6-0 run. Boy, if you're ever a believer in the mental barrier of getting to 20, Keely, we just saw it right there. What did Georgia Tech do over this run?
This is what makes good teams great, how deep you are. You saw Coach Collier shift to a 6-2 offense, saying we have Suarez, we know she can set the ball, and then let's put Manyang in not only to block but also kill a ball. Deep teams, 10th in the nation. Georgia Tech showing that not only are they good, but they're deep and they can withhold adversity and come right back.
The Yellow Jackets, number 10 in the country. They have won 22 of the 25 sets they have played this year. The only team to get sets off of them were ranked in the top 15, Ohio State and Penn State. And one of the keys for the Yellow Jackets' success in the early going, Keely, not just today, but over the first month of the season, has been the way they have defended. Their block has not been overwhelming, but their dig numbers have been electric.
Coach Collier's done a great job getting players that can read the game and producing those type of numbers, come in nice and strong, and not only taking the strong hits, but easy shots. Bianca Bertolino, number 5 on your screen, she was the libero for the Argentinian national team. And you have Otene that's been raised in the game in New Zealand. Just strong volleyball players with a high level of IQ to read the game.
You look at that jump in the digs percent. And again, part of that, of course, is, Georgia Tech was so terminal last year, probably weren't many long points. As Sophie Fisher says, you can take those dig numbers and throw them off to the side. What an answer for the Bulldogs out of the timeout. You knew they were going there, right, Keely?
You needed a kill. Look no further. Sophie Fisher will come up with a big one. Nice, strong back row attack. Gosh, that's what they wanted to do, like 5 balls back, going 2 in a row to Fisher right away.
Well, and that's something Georgia's gotten away from, too. Coach Black told us they want her to have the most attacks of any player on their team. She's 3rd right now. That serve is long, and we're square at 20. All right, here we go.
Impressive comeback by Georgia Tech, switching to that 6-2 offense, getting more offense going. The defense is good, like we saw the numbers, but now getting some offense.
Brower to Harper in the middle, and Mogridge says the door is not open.
You love what Coach Collier says about Mogridge. She's just steady. She loves to play the game. She's enthusiastic. You love when she comes down and includes her teammates on that block.
They say her actions speak louder than words, but she let out a roar there. On the slide, Suarez, tough ball. Bertolino can't win it. Good anticipation by CC Gooch.
Bertolino trying to take a tool shot from all the way inside the court. She takes responsibility, but Georgia's just really happy to come up with that point to stay even.
Bulldogs have not won a set here in Atlanta since 2018.
And
this feels like a fulcrum moment in this match.
100%. And I'm looking at this offense right now. You got Casey Evans, the shorter blocker, going on the outside. Mangyang, you just saw what she can do, ripping the ball on the right side. It's going to be hard not to get that matchup on the set if you're Suarez, the setter.
Haugen in the middle of the floor. Suarez to Bertolino. Downing with the set. Evans, a big swing. Pimentel with the dig. To the middle. Walled up by Bertolino. Suarez to Mangyang. She gets the tool.
That's where you want to go. Day one right there. Mangyang coming back with a major point for Georgia Tech. Double sub is saving the day. Pimentel making the dig. Just a heads-up play, and then the scramble to finish. Coming at it with the tool. Mangyang coming up.
Avedo Mangyang transferred from TCU. She hadn't had much burn so far this season. This has been her best match as a Yellow Jacket. Already 3 kills, tying her season high, and they've been in some huge spots, Keely.
And you love the unity on the bench, saying we work together, that setter-hitter combination. When you are the double sub, that's who you want to make buddies with if you're a hitter like Suarez. Give me the ball, I am hot.
Brower to Evans, trying to go line, a touch long, and the Yellow Jackets trailing 19-13 in this set, Keely. They've won 10 of the last 12 points.
Georgia Tech will frustrate you. They set up well on the block, they read well. So you see Casey Evans trying to mix up her shot, trying to get any part of the ball in the court, just taking that one long.
Ooh, not a great first contact for the Bulldogs. Passed over by Downing. D'Amico back in. Mendez with some fire. Evans, she's blocked by Mogridge. Liv Mogridge. All ACC freshman team with the Tar Heels last year. Now she's a Yellow Jacket. And her team's got set point to go up 2-0.
It's a great wall right there, coming up with a major point.
D'Amico into the tape. And that'll allow Fisher to get back on the floor here for the Bulldogs. It'll be
still anyone's game right now. You got a serve receive pass. If you stick it, I like the option of going to Mendez on the outside.
Anna Julia Bleeker serving. A good one. Bertolino. Oh my goodness, it was gonna be a tool. Did it hit Pimentel's leg? What happened? Coach Collier wants a timeout. That was going to be the set, Keely.
That was a little half delay trying to get that scramble. So you get a Pimentel last second decide to play it, recognizing that ball was going to drop in.
It was going to come in, okay.
So tried to play the soccer move, the kick to make the save. That was a right move. Okay. The ball was in, but the only part of her body that she could play was with her foot.
I thought that was incidental contact, and she was out of bounds. Okay. All right, well, that's a big point for Georgia. The Yellow Jackets. One more set point here before we go past 25. And for the Bulldogs, what's going on in that huddle right now? You see Aaron Johnson, their first-year assistant, being the most vocal member of it.
You go in this rotation, they want to go to Bianca Bertolino. You saw it. If I'm looking at the matchup, if I'm setter D'Amico, I'm going outside to Mendez, saying, okay, Mendez, you've been doing it. You're smart with your attack. Let's stick the pass if you're Georgia Tech. And then for Georgia, you just have to take that risk on the service line. What got you ahead in this set was Georgia Tech getting that serve-receive shake-up. So go ahead, take your risk. This is now or never time against the 10th-ranked team in the nation.
And Keely, when we began our broadcast tonight, we were talking about how Coach Black and Coach Collier, for that matter, wanted to see this rivalry get to the next level. Not just be competitive, but be high-level volleyball. We've been treated to that through these first two sets.
You are right, because Coach Collier and Coach Black knows that this improves the game. Look at the fans. This is a great environment for volleyball. And then you recruit from Georgia with these two coaches, so you just want to create high-level players and keep them around the game here at Georgia or Georgia Tech.
So the second set point in the second set for Georgia Tech. The red shirt freshman, Anna Julia Bleeker, is at the line. Mendez off the pin, point Georgia. And we're going to go past 25.
That was the right idea. Mendez not getting out wide. That ball was a little wide. She got her hand, let the ball pass her to catch the antenna on that swing. Still a good matchup, but if you need a kill, I'm going still Bianca Bertolino on this finish.
So the Bulldogs have fought back to get even. Back row Otene. From Bleeker to Evans.
Wow.
Good dig by Otene. Mendez, did it catch the line? Yes, it did.
Wow.
Oh, hold on. Yes, it did. Point Georgia. Just caught the tape, and now the Bulldogs have set point.
Nice scramble, and just the hang time that you have, keeping up your right hand for that. Great block.
Boy, what a turnaround for Georgia this would be if they can finish off this set. Mogridge. Brower going to Harper. Near the scorer's table. Otene back row. She fights it through the tape. Oh, talk about millimeters, Keely.
That ball was coming so close to us. I thought Coach Collier was going to step in and play that ball right there. And then getting a little friendly. Atlanta bounce in your hometown right there.
I'll tell you what, Coach Collier, she calls Otene a genius from the back row. She might be a wizard back there. Cast a little spell. Long ball and point Georgia. Bulldogs will have another set point. Their second in this second frame.
You see number 5, Bianca Bertolino walking back. That's who is on the service line. Every time she's been up, you're getting runs of the serves. Great news for Georgia. That was a quick side out to stay in this match.
This is some theater here, huh? Tori Harper serving and gets it over the net. Mendez got the hands. Yes, point Tech. And we play on 26 all. Coach Black wants to challenge. As he's picked up the green card, will he play it? Yes, he will. If this call is overturned, Georgia takes the second set.
I feel like we're watching a movie right here, Wiley.
This is something special, Keely. And we got a blockbuster-sized stage too here in McCamish Pavilion. Georgia Tech playing in this venue for just the second time in volleyball. Last year they took on Pitt. Panthers won that match 3-1. All right, here's a look. Do we have hands here? Evans and Fisher going up. What do you see, Keely?
If any part touched, it was the left arm of the middle blocker. So you'll really watch for the ball spin on this one because it was an arm shot, not so much a finger shot. So Mendez going up. Fisher making a strong move to close, so you check to see if there's ball rotation.
If the spin changes.
The spin changing, yep.
That's kind of hard to tell. You've got a better trained eye than I do. What do you think here?
You know, I always watch live body language, right?
Okay.
So Fisher came down and looked like I touched the ball, but everybody was saying no touch, no touch. So really after the contact right here, looking on the left arm of Fisher, getting that close. I mean, it's so close to her arm, right?
It's so close. And again, you got to have conclusive evidence. And Keely, my understanding is the officials cannot take in body language into their decision.
Correct. Yeah, only Keely sitting on the sideline.
Yes.
Been
Although
playing.
I'd argue that's a pretty good
Yeah,
tell.
I
mean,
always
I'm
watch.
with you. I think that's, just that immediate instinct.
Yeah, because you don't immediately lie right away. If
Well,
you are,
hopefully not.
I sort of did, I guess. So it's like maybe, but you watch right away. So on all this, like the ball is either on her arm or just breezing it or touching just the top part of her arm, right? But the ball doesn't spin enough. The rule on the court was there was a touch.
Yes, was a touch.
So is it enough to to overturn it? I'm not sure.
I'll tell you one thing. If this call is upheld, Georgia Tech is hanging on in this second set by, not even their fingernails. By the absolute tips of the fingernails, because, we saw Otene just get that ball to roll over on Georgia's first set point, and here the Bulldogs are this close from taking the second set.
I'm thinking.
All right, so they've made a decision, and the point belongs to Georgia Tech. And we are told it was a net violation that ultimately secured the point for Tech. We weren't even looking at that, Keely.
We were not at all looking at that. But right after it was called a point for Georgia Tech, I watched Sophie Fisher. No argument.
No argument.
So then you go, okay, if you're her parent, you just ask her later in a phone call.
So tied at 26. Fisher, what a response. Another set point for Georgia.
Coach Black changed the offense to get Fisher more sets in the middle, saying we don't have to go faster, so loop her up one. Fisher can work the court corner to corner. Great job.
We were told they were initially looking at the touch on the hands, but they couldn't tell that, but they did see a net violation on replay review. Jackets trying to stay alive in the second set. Otene shoots it long and point. Georgia, the Bulldogs have evened the match at one set apiece. Their first set over back in 2020. In her second year at Georgia, meanwhile, Bianca Bertolino, the junior, getting things started. And Sophie Fisher, the first big swing. Brower with the tool that time off the Georgia Tech block.
It all started with the dig by Downing to keep the play going, just a bullet that she picked up, and then you go Fisher in the middle, and then finally when the middle blocker holds just enough with Fisher, you can come up with a kill with Casey Evans.
It'll be Evans serving now. This is her 114th career match as a Bulldog. Estelle Haugen, well, she saw a free ball and dropped the hammer on.
Evans giving a thank you to Haugen, say thanks for that overpass. I'm missing that serve just a little bit, but hey, if you're going to miss your serve and get an overpass, keep missing it.
Yeah.
How you don't want to hit it.
That's what we call a good miss.
Right.
D'Amico, long way to run on that pass. Oh, but a sharp set. Oh, D'Amico, they're saying it did not get hands. So point Georgia, I beg your pardon.
And Otene shakes her coach off like, Coach, I think I hit that one long. Don't use your challenge.
So 3-0 Bulldogs. D'Amico, the backside. Mendez can't finish it. Another glance for Mendez. Back row, Bertolino. Haugen blocked. We didn't see a lot of the Georgia Tech block there in the first two sets, Keely. How important is it for them to get that going moving forward?
You love what Georgia Tech does. When they don't have the shot, they're trying to take Brower out of the offense so somebody else can set it. So Georgia Tech can set up a nice, strong block in front of the attacker.
And that serve is long for Mogridge. Coach Michelle Collier, all-time against the Bulldogs, 5-3 in her first 9 seasons. These teams did not face each other in 2020, of course, with conference-only COVID scheduling. Cross court, Otene blocked. Ritzolino passes it over.
Took Brower out of the offense.
They get it to D'Amico. Pierce. Oh, what a dig by Bailey Cox. And a great line swing. Estelle Haugen putting together one of her best matches of the year.
Number 7 on your screen, Cox, coming up with a big dig. She was a libero last year, entering her role, just getting some playing time, taking care of business with that dig. Great job.
So 5-1 Bulldogs. They withstood a couple of set points in the second set, wound up winning it. And now they've got the early lead in the third set. Brower to Haugen. D'Amico working hard. Middle, Gooch, point Georgia.
The transition game from Georgia's looking so solid. Georgia Tech just not able to get some offense going.
Georgia Tech has not lost a match this year, much less lost multiple sets in a match. This is a little unfamiliar territory for the white and gold and the Georgia Bulldogs. Giving the Yellow Jackets a little 1-4 here on the road in a hostile environment.
Sometimes I need to paraphrase.
It's easy to me.
Putting together one of the best matches of her Bulldog career. Her career high is 9 kills. That came last year against NC State. She's got 2 kills in the first few points of this third stanza. Otene gets it over. And a block from CC Gooch. What an answer from the Bulldogs out of the timeout, Keely.
Huge block coming because out of that timeout, Coach Collier looked at her team. Guys, we have to swing against this Georgia team. That was 3 strong swings, even a stronger block coming up with the point.
That was muscle on muscle right there. 10 blocks in the match for Georgia. Backside, Mendez works it through the block that time.
Such a smart play. Mendez getting that set slightly off the net. Block jump. She hesitated in her hit to hit the ball into the falling blocker to get the tool.
Well, this has been a group effort for Georgia on the block, by the way. They've got Fisher, Gooch each with 5. Violation that time. Looks like it's up against the net.
These are the rotations you need to push if you're Georgia Tech. You have Brower in the front row, Fisher's in the back row, Evans is in the back row.
Haugen rising high from the rafters. Pimentel with the dig. Taking Brower out of it. Cox to Evans, a little miscommunication there. Free ball over. Otene a chance to finish, and she does. And that all started with taking Clara Brower out of the play.
100%. Look at you. I get it, man. You take the setter out, somebody else has got to step in, you get an easier ball back, and then now coming to swing is Otene.
She's now got 8 kills, 11 digs, closing in on a double-double. Hagen. Boy, she has had the answer every time Georgia's needed it.
Beautifully done. If Brower goes up with a jump set, pump fakes her arms like she was going to set the ball, and then Haugen had a one-on-one opportunity. Tonight, she is winning that battle. One-on-one, Haugen's getting the point.
Still Haugen from Minnesota. Her birthday's tomorrow. As that's blocked on a tool, though, so point Georgia Tech. Still Haugen, a triplet, by the way. She got 2 brothers. They're all at Georgia. And they're all turning 20 tomorrow.
Happy birthday tomorrow. Race with triplets and brothers. That will make you tough.
How about that?
We're seeing that today, Haugen.
Brower feeds the middle. Harper trying to find that soft spot. Not there. Otene back row. Clip the tape.
Oh, guess what? You got Coach Collier, who was an incredible outside hitter back in the day, calls the timeout, looks at Otene and says, Otene, you go down swinging. After one block, she got blocked that first time. She has not got blocked again. Coleman, big time swing, huge topspin with authority, kissing that line.
How big is that for anyone on either side of the net? If your game is power when you get blocked, how important is it to maintain that confidence?
It's most important is when you have a coach that has your back. That Coach Collier's played the position, knows how to be it outside. You get blocked once, you say, okay, you learn the game and you bounce back quickly to the next contact, reading the game.
There's Haugen again. That time the dig go from Otene. Where's Brower going? Middle, Gooch, point, Bulldogs.
You saw Pierce for Georgia Tech not hold with Gooch. Gooch hasn't gotten a contact, a setting attempt in a couple, I haven't seen it in about a set and a half, actually. So Pierce released to the outside. You'll see Georgia Tech's middle release, gave the open net. Gooch, your freshman, coming up with the kill.
Out of Dallas, Texas, she's born and bred a Longhorn. 3 consecutive generations in her family have played football at Texas. She heads over to Athens, and she looks right at home here.
Yeah, looking good in red. Every Georgia fan is like, after that swing, like, thank you.
Sign me up. Bulldogs maintaining their edge. And an overpass, but the point belongs to Georgia Tech. What a win there at the net from Bella D'Amico.
Big play by D'Amico. When you see D'Amico smiling, playing loose, you know that she's going to stay in this match. So that's a big overpass, because if it would have gone the other side, Georgia still has the momentum right now.
Pimentel serving. And she's got an ace. And Coach Collier has praised Pimentel. She's been playing at just a higher level, period. You don't get her a chance to give her a lot of love because she's on the front end of those big kills, receiving the attacks.
There's just something special about being a senior, your last year going strong and leaving it all out there.
Don't need the high hands when Tori Harper can lay it in on the back line. Point Georgia, but the lead has been whittled from 5-2 here.
Harper, I feel like I've been calling your name all match when I was going with Haugen, but nice job with that swing. Nice low set.
And a Julia Bleeker. Ooh, low, tight serve. Mendez from the back row. Pancake Bleeker. Point Georgia. Oh, man.
Yes. One person who knows how to grab momentum and run with it is Casey Evans. Team leader, fighter. That's when you give your defender some credit after a baller kill.
Her 7th kill. Looks like that hand's still in good shape for Bleeker after that pancake dig. Bertolino can't, or beg your pardon, Mogridge can't polish it off. Evans did not get any fingertips. Point Georgia Tech.
Such an impressive drop the hands block by Mogridge. Going up, recognizing Evans was off the court, and as a blocker, she dropped her hands to let the ball go long.
D'Amico at the line. Just long.
You love Coach Collier. She was such a stable player. When you see her players have missed serves or some type of error, there's like no reaction, because that's a high-level player, very stable and steady.
D'Amico to the middle. Mogridge swatted away by Fisher. Another look. Mendez, she's blocked. And that time, Bertolino finishes it as it finishes in the second row.
Bertolino came up with a big line kill. You know, Georgia Tech needed that right side attack earlier on, and then Bianca Bertolino, right before she goes back to serve, comes up with the kill, and now for Georgia Tech, you need a service run.
And Keely, I don't know about you, but the mood in this third set considerably different than sort of the party atmosphere it was in the crowd in those first 2 sets. As Sophie Fisher collects another kill, and Georgia stretches the advantage back to 3.
You're seeing a completely different Georgia team. Sticking passes in this. Downing just a money pass. And then when you get a pass, of course, you have Fisher in the front row. Brower, 1-2 punch with Fisher.
Seen him work the outside, the middle, that time on the slide. D'Amico goes to Otene, who's got the answer for the Yellow Jackets. Already a double-double in the books for Otene. She's got 11 kills, 12 digs.
There's one part of a competitor is like, okay, if we're going to go down, I'm going down swinging, and that's the type of competitor Otene is. I'm going to go hard in this set.
Fisher, sharp angle, good cut.
Wow, Fisher. Yeah, you're right. She hits in the middle. The slide attack and out off of 2 feet on that right side. That angle on that shot was really impressive. Going hard inside cut shot. Almost kissing that 10-foot line.
And Georgia, who's run mostly a 5-1 with Clara Brower this year, is going to bring in Kaya Tyson here. Freshman from Canada. Meanwhile, it's Sophie Fisher serving into the net. And with that, Brower coming back in.
And you almost wonder, looking at the Georgia Tech side, is this a good time to go to a 6-2? Because that 6-2, two-setter offense, 3 hitters always in the front row, brought the momentum back to the Tech side.
No sign of Eloise Suarez yet. Brower, back row, Fisher with the touch. Mendez, power. Haugen battling for it, and the point belongs to Georgia.
What a big swing by Haugen. Not even a swing, a tool shot going into the hands. What a high jumper. Coach Black knows how to recruit. Get the highest jumpers he can find. Volleyball players all around in Haugen.
D'Amico to Bertolino. That one's in the seats.
You know, it's really nice to see D'Amico have such confidence in Bertolino, number 5 on your screen. She hit that right side attack, if you remember, and then this one, needing a side out, goes to the middle back for the rip.
This margin's been pretty consistently 2 to 3 points ever since Georgia got up 7-1. They ruled it long. Casey Evans indignant, saying that is in. Incredulous at the call. But the point belongs to Georgia Tech.
Coach Black looking at his bench, his coaches, in or out. Should I use my challenge call or not?
We're going to look at it here. Doesn't look like we were quick enough on the pan. Haugen blocked. Gooch, dig that time from Mendez. Now to Bertolino, back row. How about this block for the Bulldogs?
Oh, teamwork and block effort. Beautiful setup. And then with the close is your freshman Gooch, comes up with a big kill earlier. And now with the effort close for the drop for the block.
Georgia came into this match bottom third of the SEC in their block per set numbers. It wasn't necessarily a big part of their scoring, but boy, they have come through with it tonight. As a team, they now have 11 blocks. And I'd argue, Keely, that might be one of the key differences in this match right now.
Yeah, it's figuring out the other team, but Georgia's doing a great job on that service line.
And Haugen into the net.
Wiley, to win a match, you really need your middles going. We haven't seen that middle production offensively from Georgia Tech. So Fisher getting the sub in, blocking sub to go against Casey Evans right now for Tech, hopefully to get that transition play.
Yeah, Liv Mogridge just 1 kill tonight. She has 7 or more in each of the first 7 matches Georgia Tech played. I mean, she's been a huge contributor offensively. Her absence has been noticeable. Harper blocked. And Georgia Tech is pulled all the way even.
This is where you put a little experience on your side. And number 5, Bianca Bertolino, was on the Elite 8 Georgia Tech team, knows how to fight through a comeback from your opponent and stay strong to come up with a huge play.
Yellow Jackets, Elite 8 2 years ago, get knocked out by Louisville as that serve is long. Keely, I'm not sure who's going to win this third set, but right now this smells like we're going 5.
It does smell like 5, doesn't it? And you look at the rotations, you're like, okay, Otene for Georgia Tech, been coming up with kills, hitting strong. You have Fisher that's lights out, and now she's in the back row. So any ball that gets close to like that 10-foot line is going to go to Fisher.
And that serve is long. Did neither team blinking at that service line. They're trying to serve tough. If they miss, so be it.
And what I love about high-level coaches, you watch Coach Collier, anyone misses a serve, no reaction. Coach Black, no reaction. That's some high-level coaching because you got to save your players emotionally for the next play.
Harper with quite a swing. Tori Harper. That's her 7th kill of the match. Georgia's been much more balanced than I thought we'd see, Keely. It hasn't just been the Sophie Fisher show. Casey Evans has 7 kills, but it's Haugen and Harper have combined for 15 kills.
And you saw that pass. Brower was right at the net. She had 3 options to go with.
And that serve is in. Just caught the edge of the line.
Wow, big play. You come up with a kill and now back on the service line. Harper showing out.
Georgia Tech 7-0. They have not lost multiple sets in a match this year. Evans trying to get the Bulldogs to 20. Not on that swing. Fisher, can she do it? No, just long.
You almost thought she was going to do it
Yes.
once you saw that ball go to the middle.
She's a pretty safe bet.
Right.
If you see her getting that kind of swing, no more times than not, that point's going to the Bulldog side. This is where things got really hairy in the second set. We got towards that 20-point mark. Boy, what a power serve from Bertolino. Mendez with the soft touch. Cox with the dig.
Wow.
And Fisher the kill.
Brower's like, I'm not looking any further. I'm going to throw a bump set, hand set, sitting on the ground, whatever I got. Where is number 2? Fisher is getting this ball. Watch the turn. Bump set. I'm going to go high to the middle. Fisher taking care of business.
Oh, today is long. Point Georgia. And after the Yellow Jackets pulled even, the Bulldogs now ahead by 3 in this crucial third set.
You feel energy. You feel momentum on this red side of Georgia. Georgia Tech just trying to get something going, but right now, Georgia's doing a great job on the service line. Offense is producing elsewhere other than Sophie Fisher. Of course, when you need a big one, you go to her. But Georgia Tech just trying to get something going, and it starts with that pass.
And kind of the story coming into this match, Keith, is you felt like Georgia kind of had perhaps the highest scorer on either side, but Georgia Tech had a little more depth, a little more balance. But tonight, it's been the Bulldogs with the balance, and not just in kills. Look at those blocks distributed.
Yeah, starting on that service line, going strong. I think Georgia is really doing a great job setting up 2 hands on the block. Georgia Tech's passing is not great tonight in that serve receive, trying to stick passes. You'll see Brower for Georgia at the net in her serve receive, sticking the ball, run a couple options, get her hitters one-on-one. D'Amico for Georgia Tech is running all over the court, trying to create scramble plays.
Sophie Fisher, you expect to see her at the top of the kill list, but both Haugen and Casey Evans have had more swings than her. And Coach Black told us specifically, and explicitly really, that Fisher's who they want to have the most swings every night, but that has not been the formula so far, and it's working for them.
And if you're Georgia Tech, you've got to get Mogridge going in the middle, Mendez on the outside, on the right side, some type of offense away from just your outside attack.
So out of the timeout, Evans serving. Otene. Haugen with the roll shot. Good dig, Downing that time. Fisher gets another kill. The Bulldogs a 4-point edge. And 3 points away from taking the third set. Keeley again, the first set and a half. This was a party here at McCamish Pavilion, but Georgia, they have quieted the crowd and they have the momentum here considerably.
Fisher just so automatic.
Mendez trying to get something back for the Jackets. Haugen. Pimentel to Mendez. Fisher off the 1 foot. Man, Cox again. Otene. Ooh, a side swipe there from Clara Bauer. Free ball back over for Georgia. Fisher is long. Point Tech.
Incredible play. You're holding your breath if you're a Georgia Tech fan, and for Georgia, you're like, yeah, you got Fisher the ball. But that ball was played to Cox and right back. It's a really hard set to make to get your feel with your middle on that slide attack.
Mogridge serving into the net.
Big point. I mean, big point for Georgia right now. You go up 2 points away from the set point with a missed serve. You just cut momentum, and you're like, yep, it's on our side right now.
And while that may sound kind of tit for tat there, one service error for another, but Georgia's 1 point closer to finishing this off, and it'll be Heloise Suarez coming in to serve.
You almost have to look with Coach Collier, what she's doing right now, going to a 2-setter offense, bigger block in the front row, more offensive options. You might see this here in the 4th set as well.
Big moment, Brower, Haugen. Suarez gives it to Otene, Point Tech.
That's the matchup you want. You go Otene over Brower. This is what Georgia Tech wants, just some type of scramble play. Otene with the power and the height going off the hands of Brower long. Georgia Tech looking strong in that 6-2 offense with Coach Black knowing that he needs a timeout with this team to gather.
Well, we saw Georgia Tech in a similar spot. They had some set points, couldn't close it out in the second set. Georgia had a couple set points. They couldn't close it out until I think it was their 3rd set point. The bottom line is this just feels like this is going to be a match that's going to be decided by a few points here at the end of these sets.
Rotationally, you like the 6-2 offense for Georgia Tech, right? We can identify, okay, there's a little more offense going. For Georgia, you stay in that service pace. You create those aces. Georgia Tech shanking a little passes so somebody else other than D'Amico can run an offense. That's a good look for you because your blocking game looks solid today, and transition offense looks really good. So you stay the course, take strong serves. You don't have to risk it for your ace serve, but you just go, I'm going to attack this person, almost like aim small, miss small. Go hard and focus at your spot, and then rely on your block and transition offense game.
It is the first home match for Georgia Tech this year. Spent the first 3 weekends on the road. They're playing here at McCamish Pavilion in front of a record-breaking crowd. And the Georgia Bulldogs trying to crash the party here.
And that's hard to do. 3 weekends in a row, not playing at home in a preseason as you even adjust to school. Like, that's hard to do. And come 10th in the nation after all of that.
Heloise Suarez, freshman from Brazil. Back row, Fisher. Overpass. And Gooch works it through the block. Is that a violation there on Georgia Tech? In the SEC last year, picked 4th. And a service error rather. to begin the fourth set.
And the biggest question I'm wondering is if Coach Collier is going to go to that 6-2 offense once D'Amico wraps around to the front row. Are you going to do that? Because every time you've done it this match, you keep coming back.
Backside, and Fisher a little off target that time as she tries to poke it over.
When I was thinking about this match, I'm like, okay, Georgia Tech 10th in the nation. They're solid all around. They know how to play this game of volleyball. Georgia is very aggressive. They have threats. They haven't yet played to their potential in this season. You have Evans back healthy, playing some good volleyball. So now it's a question, can Georgia put that pressure all the way to the end of the match so this Georgia Tech team loses the hope in their home court?
Well, they've taken the year out of the building. I promise you that, Keely. This is a crowd of over 5,000, we're told. As Mendez is blocked. And that time, Bertolino swatted away and rejected. It is all Bulldogs right now.
Bianca Bertolino trying to go power shot, but you got to hit that ball somewhat high into the hands if you're going cross court, because you know number 2, Fisher, is going to arrive.
And a service ace that time, and the bow from Casey Evans.
There you go. Have some fun with it. This is your grad year, 5th year in the Georgia uniform. After you get that ace, go ahead, bow with your team.
She was a member of that 2019 team that last beat Georgia Tech for Georgia. Did not meet in 2020, and then the Yellow Jackets swept the last 2 meetings. And another service ace. Casey Evans, in the hitting percentage, maybe not where she wants it tonight, but she's done a lot of other things right.
It's been the passing game for Georgia Tech that has suffered. You have a lot of motion, you pop your head, you lose that track of the ball. You'll take it all day if you're Casey Evans and team.
And with the overpass, Estelle Haugen cleaning it up. That's almost just as good as an ace.
Just always ready at the net. Haugen stepping in for a big one. Hard to come off the bench when you're cold, just trying to stick a pass with the heat that Evans is bringing on that service.
Now a 5-0 run. She is in a zone. Another overpass. Bertolino. And blocked. Or being part of the school, excuse me.
It's a part of the match where you start figuring out. You saw Bianca Bertolino get blocked by going cross-court into Fisher. And Coach Collier reminded her, the shot is line. You got to touch the hands of Brower, work the line shot. If you're going to go across, you got to go super high to clear that block. Way to bounce back, Bertolino.
And now Liz Patterson, her first appearance tonight, serving for Georgia Tech. Haugen blocked. Fisher blocked. And right down the pipe. Casey Evans taking over this 4th set.
That's like feeling yourself on that zone right here, going up a scramble play. And she's just always ready. Casey Evans, like, I can see it, I'll adjust. Straight down the gut.
Also seen as Bertolino can't finish it. Lauren Sandins checked in, and point Georgia. They got the hands, and the Bulldogs lead this match 2-1. They've got the jump in set number 4.
Cox with the beautiful bump set scramble, number 7 right there. And then Haugen going high off the hands. Georgia is cruising right now, both with momentum and the way they're playing the game. She's very confident.
What can the Yellow Jackets do to try and turn the tide?
You got to pass that ball and serve receive. Not much when you can do when you, yes, you have a player like Mendez that can make something out of nothing, but you have to stick the pass and serve receive, and I love what Coach Coley is doing. Go into that 6-2 offense. It worked for you. Why not keep it going, trying to get back in this match?
So Suarez into serve. Manyang will check in at the front. She's got 3 kills. She's had some big moments in this match, limited time. Brower, Haugen, What a tough pass. Bertolino found a way to put some oomph behind it. And that free ball is flushed.
The momentum is on the Georgia side. No matter what Georgia Tech's doing, the scramble, they're trying to keep plays going. That was a great rip, but even better dig by Evans. Just a scramble, and Haugen ready to go back to Athens.
First match in her Georgia career in double-digit kills. She's tied for the team lead with 11. Suarez gets it over to Pierce, and Pierce finishes it off. The Yellow Jackets trying to land a punch here. Come back in this match, they dropped 2 straight sets.
Big play by Pierce with a second effort with that block. You have Otene back in the front row. You have Bertolino on the service line. This is the time with Fisher in the back row. You gotta push points.
Bertolino, a fierce serve. Great dig. And the Tanya Manyang. Smiling. Holy man.
Manyang says, hey, Coach Collier, I can block, let me play. Give some action first time on her attempt, putting it down.
The middle, Gooch blocked by Pierce. Yellow Jackets, a little bit of a run here.
This is exactly how Georgia got the momentum in the third set. It was the blocking, attention to detail. Pierce, Manyang stepping up big time.
Couple of transfers from the Lone Star State. Manyang from TCU, Pierce from Texas. Brower. Another good play by the block. And Evans has to bump it over. Cross court, Otene. Did she get the tool? No, just caught the line. Point Georgia.
So that's what you're gonna do. Go down swinging. Beautiful block close on that by Gooch. Good job, freshman. Your first time playing a Georgia Tech rivalry. You're playing really well.
Haugen serving. Otene floats it over. Harper beats it through the seam and collects the point for Georgia.
Great set by Brower. Brower got the pass really close. Instead of going high and looping one back, she was like, I'm gonna go fast and low, knowing that my right side's going to arrive. Great swing on that.
The balance continues for Georgia. 4 different Bulldogs with 8 or more kills. And UGA trying to pull off the upset on the road.
Sometimes
23 season, but right now it's been a sour script for the Yellow Jacket faithful as Tech trails both in this 4th set and in the match. High ball, Downing trying to calm it down as Evans tries to roll it. She leaves it short. What's the message for Coach Collier during that timeout?
I know she wants to say, guys, can we just please stick a serve-receive pass? Because you can see Georgia Tech setter is like always about 12 feet off the net to try to make something happen with an offense. If you stick the pass, get that going, you trust that block. It's been pretty solid in the 4th set.
Harper gets a quality swing after a good serve receive, and Mogridge wins the head-to-head against Gooch. That was loud.
A great read block on that. Recognizing Mogridge had the second attempt to try to block that overpass. She saw Gooch go to her right, trying to make that swing, and just stepping in to take away the shot is Mogridge.
And Harper lands it in the back. Lead back to 2.
As a sophomore on the right side, Mogridge is looking like an upperclassman, just working the court. I love how low Georgia's running this right side and just working that inside open shot. Good job, Harper.
By the way, that's now 2 Bulldogs with career high in kills tonight. Tori Harper with 9.
Haugen another?
Yes. Manyang. She's got something working from that right side, Keely.
That's why you need that offense on the right side. Great job. I'm pretty sure the rest of this match Georgia Tech's going to be sticking to that 6-2 offense when you have a player like Manyang just lighten it up with that steam. It doesn't matter. The height, the power coming up. Great job, Manyang.
Her 4 kills, now a season high. Quite the weapon off the bench. Bella D'Amico at the line.
And you know if you serve softly, Fisher's going to get an easy pass, so you got to grip it.
Harper that time loses the joust. And Evans, a little bit of net, a little bit of Liv Mogridge. And we're square at 11.
And that one, it was a good pass, and that's one you go, okay, Brower, thank you for not setting Fisher in the middle, going up. Nice job.
Feels like another one of those Fulker moments here. Oh, Sophie Fisher, not just power, but sophistication.
When you recognize as a setter what's on the line, you just go, okay, we might get an upset at the 10th-ranked team in the nation. This is a cross-state rivalry. Let's go. I'm finding Fisher every ball. Like, that's what right away, I get a ball close to that net, I'm going to Fisher.
She's got a match-high 12 kills. Otene and Mendez for the Yellow Jackets also have 12 kills as they mop up the 6-foot line there on the Yellow Jacket side.
And you know the errors that Fisher has, it's because she hit the ball long. It wasn't like there was Georgia Tech was contesting her attack with the block. Fisher's high and over on that. So you just got to throw up a ball. You just say, go ahead, hit a corner to corner.
Tori Harper, long. Well, you mentioned there's no reactions from the coaches when their player commits a serve error. I'm noticing some reactions from the opposing coach. Nothing massive, just a little subtle fist bump.
Yes.
From Michelle Collier there. All right, we got one back. Again, stoic when your team's at the line, but on the other side,
Yeah, you celebrate any point right now with how close this match is.
All right, even at a dozen. This has been some kind of treat tonight. Evans. Pimentel over to Mendez now, and she's walled off.
Coach Collier walking over is like, come on, guys. Why, Mendez? Why are you going across court on this ball? I don't care how you got to get the ball lined. Just stay away from number 2, Fisher, on that close.
And to your point, when you have Clara Brower there, who is listed at just 5'9", that's 8 inches.
And sometimes you don't get the set. Sometimes it is a little inside, so you just have to change your shot and go a little higher. But to go into the arms, that's almost an instant block.
And speaking of going cross court, Sophie Fisher.
With how Fisher is performing right now, taking over the match front row, just going slide attack on the block, stepping up big time. You can feel her leadership take over. For Georgia Tech, you know you only have one more rotation, and she's back in the front, back to the back row. That's where you have to take advantage, and right now it's just a side-out game.
And they get it on the error. So the Yellow Jackets trailing by 1. They've got that next rotation coming. And you got Liv Mogridge at the line. You can see the disgust on her face and her body language. But to your point, I mean, they did get the rotation to get Fisher in the back row, so she'll serve now. But Georgia can take, I mean, they can smell it right now. It's close. D'Amico. Bertolino gets it to go over the net on a roll. Little dribbler, and smack dab into the net. Casey Evans couldn't calibrate it properly.
Coach Collier not too happy with the pop contact on that set, but if you're setter D'Amico, you just got to stay in the fight. Let go of the outcome, just play your game. Coach Collier getting that double sub rotation right now, just hoping that this squad on the court can push some points because Georgia is finding offense left and right with their players.
Eloise Suarez. slide. Point, Georgia. CC Gooch. She's in the front row.
Is there a player that's like most improved throughout the match? I'm going to you, Gooch. You're coming up with major plays as Georgia Tech just tries to focus on everybody else. But 5 kills, 7 block. Nice job in your debut against Georgia Tech.
Brower serving. Anyang. Boy, she has been money tonight, Keely. Money.
You almost want to stay in this rotation, say, you know what? We're going to go a DS with Manyang. She's getting us offense. Stay with Suarez on the setter spot. Let's see what we can do. You got to figure out a way to win because Georgia's playing lights out.
Jump serve, Bertolino. Oh, that was close to being nearly perfect, but it's long. And Coach Michelle Collier, she's reached for the challenge card.
Coach Collier, listening to the fans. Everybody on that line was yelling at her, so Coach was in. She looked at it like, maybe I'm going to use it as to cut a little momentum, but go ahead, I'll use my challenge card.
It kind of reminded me of that challenge we saw from Coach Black. I believe it was in the second set when the odds of being overturned, probably not great, but it felt like a delicate moment. And that was early in the set, I think down 8-4. This even later, especially with the match on the line here in this set for Georgia Tech, you know, they've got to find a way to get things patched up now. Here's a look at it.
Looks a little long to me, Wiley.
I agree.
But I'm thinking it's a good time to use your challenge card.
Yeah, that freeze frame right there with it on the ground ought to tell you everything you need to know.
I'm seeing like a half inch between the end line and the ball.
And with the call on the floor being that it was long, it's hard to imagine it's going to be overturned. Arlene Hughes, our referee, she says yes. The call is confirmed. So Estelle Haugen, Georgia 8 points away from their first win over Georgia Tech since 2019, their first win in Atlanta since 2014, and perhaps most importantly, a win over a top 10 team on the road. Suarez, Manyang, just printing it, Keely. Just printing it right now for Alfredo Manyang.
Wiley, it started with a pass. Otene stuck it. Suarez was right at the net for that delivery back to Manyang. That's how you do it. Keep it up. That's some good offense right there with a good pass. 6
kills on 7 swings. Pimentel. Evans beats the block. Refusing to let Georgia Tech get any momentum.
You want this to be a lifelong memory if you're Evans. My last year playing Georgia Tech in their home crowd and a record crowd, I want to go out with a win, and she's playing like it for sure.
She might have the best game face on the court right now. You can Georgia Tech turn to Otene, Long, point Georgia.
That's hard because you saw the bump set down by Pimentel to try to get that ball going. Otene just not able to connect, but right now Georgia is definitely cruising in this 4th set.
Leaker serving, Suarez, Otene, point Tech.
The sign of a competitor. Otene hitting that one long previously and then comes back with a power attack. Right, watch this inside, nice low set, Suarez, and then beautiful way to jump and beat the block to its rival, Otene.
Bella D'Amico serving.
She's serving, and we have Fisher in the front row. I'm not looking any further. If I'm Brower, I'm finishing out the match, given every set.
Going to Harper, blocked by Otene. You think she's going to Fisher on the next one?
And Otene says, thank you very much. We're not so intimidated, but it's a very strong attack by Harper, but I'll go ahead and set that up, and all we need to do is a strong serve to get a transition ball.
And that serve is long, and that puts Georgia at 20 points in this fourth set. Georgia has played just 3 Power 5 teams this season. They were swept by TCU, they were swept by Florida State, but they have come here on the road, and they are in position to deal Georgia Tech its first loss of the season. Mendez. Oh, Downing from behind Evans, and she's got it! Oh, but they're going to say point Georgia Tech. I beg your pardon.
Wow, just an unfriendly bounce off of that net just when you thought Evans was going to come up with the big swing. Yeah. Georgia Tech is like, take that serve fast. Don't get a replay. We're not really sure if arms were caught on that.
So 1 point margin. And point Georgia as Mendez was long.
Right idea, but just Evans setting a strong block up, and Mendez knew that Fisher was going to get there on the block, just trying to make a harder shot than she had with that swing.
Oh, what a serve! Casey Evans, take that bow.
Great job, Evans. Huge service game, and for all of Georgia today, you see the serve-receive game for Georgia Tech just completely break down. Only a few times the setter's running offense at the net. Otherwise, it's a scramble play. Georgia playing really well, mostly on the service line, and then setting up some good transition play.
Georgia Tech calling their final timeout. They trail by 3. Georgia is 3 points away from an upset. Crowd trying to will Tech back into this match.
Coach, talking to Coach Black early on, he's like, I don't know why they're not playing this in O'Keefe Gym. Of course, we love the fans, we love the energy and effort, but that O'Keefe Gym is definitely a 7-man advantage with how loud and crazy it is. But you're feeling that type of energy today, but it's really Georgia bringing their own energy from Athens, showing up today on that service line, passing, and defensively really picked it up a notch.
Well, it also feels about 15 degrees cooler in this building than it would in O'Keefe.
You're right, it's so hot in O'Keefe.
So here we go. Georgia serving out of the timeout. Casey Evans. She's been their engine all night long. 5th-year senior. As you said, Keely, man, talk about a memory if they can finish this off in the 5th year. And that serve is long. All right, now Deandra Pierce subbing in. Liv Mogridge going back to serve momentarily. Now it's going to be Liz Patterson. The senior from Birmingham, Alabama. Hadn't played a lot over her Georgia Tech career, but this is her spot coming in for a key serve.
Question is, can Georgia Tech slow down this attack we're about to see by Fisher?
Pretty good serve, huh?
That's a great serve. That's what you needed.
It's Bertolino. Dig by Patterson. Mendez. They get Brower out of it. And that ball a little too close to the net. Mendez can't finish it. Point Georgia. 2 points away from the upset.
Haugen with the shutdown on the block. That was a tight set. She was all over that close to drop it straight down on the attacker, Mendez.
It felt like Georgia was on the brink towards the end of the second set. They were facing set point going down 2-0. Now it's Georgia Tech who's literally on the brink. Brower stumbled a little bit. Evans back row. Point Georgia. And match point here in McCamish for the Bulldogs.
Big swings, team effort, blocks all around. Hogan with the block earlier on that point. And then you have your senior grad student showing up out of the back row for a kill. Great leadership.
This would be Georgia's first top 10 win since 2020 when they took down number 5 Florida. Not on that point. Bertolino gets the kill. The Yellow Jackets still alive.
Looking at this rotationally, you're like, okay, probably not going to go to the middle gooch on this. Haugen's been pretty solid, but don't sleep on Fisher on a back row attack in this serve-receive pattern. Anything's a go. Georgia just needs a pass.
Brower to Fisher. Back row, Mendez. It's Fisher again. Bertolino. Did she get hands? No, she did not. Georgia's pulled off the upset. Georgia Tech is out of challenges.